guys, I'm Emma. So one thing that you should know about me, if you know me very well, and if you don't know me at all, then I'm going to tell you right now, is that I love reading. I love Disney, I love dogs, and I love reading. So there is a Disney series out by Serena Valentino, and it is based on the Disney villains. Now, the Disney villains are some of my favourite Disney characters, and so when I found these books, I found two of them in 2015 when we were in Disney World, and I picked them straight up. So that was The Fairest of Them All and The Beast Within, and brought them home and put them on my bookshelf, didn't even worry about them. And then, so I've picked them up recently and started to read them because we're coming up to a Disney trip. I'm all in a Disney mood, and yeah, I just wanted to give them a read. So Serena Valentino has been retelling the Disney classics, but she's been retelling them in the point of view, or from the point of view of the Disney villains. So The Fairest of Them All is from the Evil Queen. The Beast Within is obviously from the Beast point of view. And then this book, Poor Unfortunate Souls, is from the view of Ursula. So this is the cover to the book. It's obviously got half of Ursula's face just here. The writing is all in silver, so it's really, really pretty. And then on the back side, you have half of Vanessa, so when Ursula turns into Vanessa, half of her face. And all of the editions are the same, so in the back here it does give you a little, let me find it. So the Beast cover looked like that, and the Fairest of All one looked like that. Yeah, I think the cover's really pretty. I really like the theming of the book. So yeah, so let's get into the review. So one thing to point out that I wasn't aware of when I started to read these books is you need to read them in order. So the first book was released as a standalone, and then Disney asked Serena Valentino if she would carry on with the series because they must have loved it so much. So once she realised that she was doing a series, she introduced some characters that I haven't read the first one, and I think that's a mistake on my part, but some of the characters that are introduced in The Beast Within are also spoken about in the Poor Unfortunate Souls as well. So I think to understand what is going on in this book, you need to have read that book. So I would say read them in order. The books don't change what we already know about the stories, so this one doesn't focus too much on the actual tale of the Little Mermaid, so you don't see too much of the Little Mermaid at all. What it does focus on is Ursula and what happened to her, where she's come from, why she is the way she is, and what's going on with her and why she does what she does. But I like that there are some mentions to the Little Mermaid in here. So for example, on one of the pages, the lyrics to Ursula's song are written out as though she's singing them. So obviously when you're reading it, you kind of sing along in your head, and I thought that was a really fun touch. And some of the characters that we do know and love are in the book. So King Triton is in there, Eric, obviously the Little Mermaid is in there. There are also mentioned two characters that aren't necessarily from this story but are Disney characters already. So you have mention of the Beast in this story because you've just been in the Beast world in the previous story. One of the things that I loved about this story is finding out about Ursula's backstory. So obviously in The Little Mermaid she is the villain, and we don't really learn much about her. We just know she's this octopus lady with all of this sass, and she does favors for favors, you know? She does things and she takes things away, and she's a little bit of a nasty, but we don't know why. Do we even care why? Not really. But now that I know why, I do care. So her backstory is much more complicated than I would have imagined, especially in such a tiny book. I can't believe how much about Ursula is in here, and it was just so fascinating to find out like where she came from, what happened to her, and why she is the way she is. I'm trying so hard to not spoil anything for anybody. Yeah, so I thought that was really, really nice. So like I mentioned earlier, Serena Valentino introduced a few characters called the Odd Sisters in the previous video. So one of the Odd Sisters is the witch that cursed the beast, and she's from a little clan, and so those characters were introduced in the previous story, and they are mentioned a lot in this story. So they're, you know, it's their story and how they integrate with Ursula and how their lives combine. And so following those new characters, or kind of new, I don't know if they'll in the future turn out to be characters that we recognise, but following those new characters also was really fun. It was really interesting, and I feel a little bit invested in their story as well. So it was nice to meet some new characters, because it kind of feels like you're experiencing something different, like kind of like Disney has come out with a new story almost. So this story, Poor Unfortunate Souls, mentions a dark fairy a lot. I think it does mention Maleficent in name once or twice, but that then leads on to the next story in this series, which is Maleficent's story, and that one is called Mistress of All Evil. So I'm looking forward to find out how it plays with the Maleficent film that we've got already, whether it tells that story or whether it's from even before then, or how that works, and whether she'll start off evil and end evil as well, because in the Beast story, Adam obviously ended up nice, but he also didn't start off evil, so he just became that way because of the curse. So I'm excited to carry on with the series, because I think it's really nice to find the backstory of these evil characters, and you know, I know a lot of us have a lot of love for the villains, so it's really nice to see more into their lives and why they do what they do. I do have a couple of cons, and I will get into those in just a minute, but I did have an alternative that I wanted to talk about. So I'm really loving this series. I love that there's a villain series. I love that we can get into the nitty-gritty of the villains, but I also really would have loved this story from Prince Eric's point of view. Now, Prince Eric is one of my favourite princes. Him and Prince Adam, they're my favourites, but I think that we just kind of like, oh, Prince Eric, he's there, like, but he's involved with an awful lot of it, and I think hopefully moving forward, like, he would be involved in a lot of Ariel's life. So, and they talk about Prince Eric in this book as well, and I just think it would be really nice to the whole, you know, meeting Ariel and then meeting Vanessa, and you know, the wedding and killing or whatever to Ursula. I think Prince Eric could have an awful lot to say, and the same again from King Triton. He would also be a good point of view that I would maybe like to read from. I did really love this story, so it would be nice to be able to see it from some other point of view. Okay, I'm going to jump into my two cons. I've only got two, and I'm just going to glance and I'm just going to see what I wrote down quickly. Okay, so my first con is that it's not enough. It is a 194 pages, but this, with nothing on it, counts as a page, and there are several of those within the book. There are also several with only a few lines on the page, so I reckon it's probably about 170 pages. And the writing, let me just show you the writing quickly. The writing is big. The other books in this series are a lot thicker, not a lot thicker, but they are thicker, and the Beast story had a lot more to it, but, and that is my con. I wanted more of the story, but there is a lot in this book. Like, Serena Valentino has managed to fit a lot in the book for the size of it. So I wonder if maybe she just wasn't enjoying this story, or if she doesn't really like Ursula, or if she's trying to take it somewhere else. But that's my first con. I just wanted more. And then my second con is that even though, so Serena Valentino herself has said read these in order else they won't make sense. But I read the previous book to this and that made sense on its own. I didn't need to read the first book for the Beast book, for the Beast book to make sense. And so then I've read that one and now I've read this one, and I still found the beginning of this book really complicated. I think it's because some of the characters are names that we're not used to. The three odd sisters, their names are not names that I recognise as Disney characters. Maybe they are and I just don't know, but they're not names that I'm used to, and you kind of jump in backwards and forwards and you're hearing a lot of backstory, and it is a little bit complicated. But I will say that it quickly becomes clear who is who, and you know, by I think, I don't know, 20 pages maybe in, you're kind of with it and you know what's going on. I just wish it started off with maybe a recap or something, a little bit of a smoother transition to get into it. So I'm gonna go into my rating. I rated this 3 stars on Goodreads. I would have rated it 3.5 if I could. I really enjoyed it. Again, it's not enough of a book for me to be like, oh my god, I loved this book. But I really enjoyed the story. I don't really have anything too negative to say about it. And I found like a lot of the reviews on Goodreads were either really, really good or really, really bad. People were just not enjoying it. But for me, I wanted to read this series as a fun little reading break. So it is little, it's Disney, and I wanted it to, I don't know, kind of be a break in between heavy books, and that's exactly what it's done. It was fun, it was super nice quality, it was a nice read. I love the cover. I can't really fault it, and I think that the idea of this series, and especially a series that is going to go, you know, from one to another to another to another and link all of the stories together, I just think that's a really nice idea, and I would love to see it with other characters, how we could link other characters together as well. So I really enjoyed that and I gave it a 3 stars. I definitely do plan on carrying on with the series, and before I can read Mistress of All Evil I need to purchase it. I thought I had all of the books in the series, but I do not. I have the Mother Gothel one, which is the next one after the Mistress of All Evil, and I didn't pick up the Mistress of All Evil. Mistress of All Evil. So I need to do that before I can carry on with the series, but hopefully I can do that before I go away in November and get that read, because I really want to read the Mother Gothel one. And I'm wondering if some of the witches are the same witches, or some of the evil people are the same evil people. And there's a character called Nanny, and I'm kind of wondering if she is Mother Gothel, but I'm not too sure. So yeah, so I am planning on carrying on with the series, and I would definitely recommend this book. I think it could be read by adults that love Disney, it could be read by young adults, and it also could be read by older children, I think, if they know enough about the Disney world or Disney universe, if you will. I really would love to read some more of Serena Valentino's books, and I think I'm going to carry on with the series. But thank you for watching. If you have read this book, let me know what you thought. I know that it is getting really mixed reviews. Hopefully I will be able to do another book review for you very soon. If you've enjoyed this, then please do let me know. I know it's a little bit different than what we normally put out, but I like to read and I wanted to share my opinion with you guys. And I'm also sporting some Ursula lipstick today, so props to me. Yeah, so please subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. Bye.